Island, December the 6th, 1983. My life was transformed by saving faith in Jesus Christ. I'll never forget the day or the evening. It was a Tuesday night back in jolly old England when I received the gospel and accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. My life changed dramatically because 3 months later, after becoming a Christian, I went on an airplane for the first time in my life, visited the Caribbean island of Jamaica, where my parents are from, and there in that island, I met a bunch of American ladies at a youth convention. One of them, 4 years later, became my wife, and Sylvia and I have been married since 1987. So there's a little Dun and Bradstreet on Representative Webster Barnaby, who waited, that's right, I waited 11 years with a green card to become an American citizen. And I did it the right way, thank God. And on March the 5th, 1998, I raised my right hand and pledged my allegiance to the United States of America. And I have fully assimilated, and I became a city commissioner for the city of Deltona back in 2012. And it was a great experience serving as a city commissioner. And 2 years ago, I was elected to the State House in Tallahassee as state representative for House District 27. And now I'm running for re-election under the new redistricting rules for House District 29. So it's a lot to remember, a
Wow,
lot of moving
that's a
parts.
lot of moving parts, but you're doing it. It was quite a race, tight race. I mean, you won by what 30 votes, I believe it was. Talk about having a
Correct.
vote count. There was a recount. You
Mm-hmm,
went from
mm-hmm,
26 votes to 30.
mm-hmm,
You added a couple more, a few more
mm-hmm.
rather,
Yep,
four.
yep.
That must have been intense for you.
Well, to be honest with you, as intense as it was, 2 days recount, um, I had no, and I'm not, no hyperbole, no fear, no doubts. The peace that passes understanding was truly with me because I was calm and I knew in my heart of hearts that I had worked extremely hard to get my message out, that I was a principled conservative, and that I was going to remain a principled conservative, that I was not in any way hyping or in any way fabricating who I was. I was exactly who I said I was, a Christian, conservative, Republican
Mm.
in that order.
Let's talk about being the Christian conservative Republican because
Yes.
that's an identifier. It separates you from a lot of people. I know that because we just visited the conservative headquarters. I have a conservative headquarters here in Flagler County, and that's a line. I'm noticing a lot of Republicans don't want to cross. They say that they're conservative, but then when you put it out there, they're like, yeah, no, I'm not that. I'm more of a moderate.
Pastor Jay, let me tell you, that is so true. One of the things that I insisted on doing is that every single one of my signs had at the top of my signs conservative Webster Barnaby. So that when you saw one of my yard signs, you didn't have to guess, well, is that guy a Republican? Is he a liberal? Is he a libertarian? It told you right up front, conservative Webster Barnaby. I wasn't ashamed of the label. I own the label, conservative Webster Barnaby. One of the saddest things today I see in American politics is politicians behaving like actors.
Mm.
Actors act. All they do is perform. And, it's really sad when you've got to stick your finger in the air and see which way the wind is blowing. I want people to know unequivocally that I'm a Christian, conservative, Republican, and I will never compromise, never bow, and I will never, ever have to play games with anyone. We need to know that elected officials have integrity and that their integrity is not for sale.
So for 2 years, you've been in the Florida State House. I like how you say the integrity is not for sale. I'm guilty of that. I will not sell my integrity. You've been in the State House. How challenging has it been? And we know, you and I know that there's only one race, the human race. But you have brown skin, like I have brown skin. And it comes with some challenges.
So I'm not naive, and not being naive, I'm aware of the challenges, particularly because I hold dear to the concept of wanting to make this nation a more perfect union. And in wanting to make this a more perfect union, it's fully understanding the responsibility of citizenship and knowing that as a trailblazer, as the only black Republican serving in the House currently, I am a trailblazer, whether I want to be one or not. And I choose not to make race an issue, but the reality is it's what it is.
It is what it is.
I am a proud black Republican, and I'm a proud American. I've a fully assimilated. I believe that we need to be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And so I strive to make that happen in everything that I do, in the legislation that I try to put forth to help children and families and my fellow Americans live out the ideals of what the founding fathers wanted in our great republic. And make no mistake about it, we are a republic and not a democracy.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. For those of you who are watching, I had a little bit of technical difficulty. I forgot to bring Mark in. So the first 5 minutes, maybe 3, 4 minutes of the show, you're not going to get a chance to hear it. But I have it recorded. I can absolutely post that because it's doing that. But no worries. All right, we're going to go back in. Let's start with the crazy thing that we stole because you touched on some good points. I want to go back into you being assimilated and talk about your loyalty to this nation, to this country, and things like that, and what you've done and how that changed your heart. Changed, not necessarily changed your heart, but give us a unique perspective. Because those of us born and raised here, I find that those who have been assimilated here are more passionate about the Constitution than we are. I don't know why that is. Not that they are more. Don't be mad at me, patriots, but it's true. I see it a lot.
It's true.
Like people in other countries
It's true.
that are reading the Bible, the Word of God, they will hang in trees and will walk for miles just to be heard the word of God. In places like Africa and Ghana, here we have church on every corner, and people are like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. All right, so you ready? Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Of course, I have my highly esteemed guest here, an assimilated American, using your words, born in England, Britain, and now you're here in America. But your passion for the U.S. Constitution, your passion for America, is deep. You can hear it in your voice. What is it about being raised in Britain and now being assimilated? Why do you choose the word assimilated? I should ask you that. Why do you choose the word assimilated here in America?
I purposefully, intentionally chose the word assimilate because after waiting 11 years with a green card to become an American citizen, I had to study the U.S. Constitution and understand that it was my responsibility as a citizen to make this nation a more perfect union. And in doing that, because I've got beautiful brown skin doesn't mean that I should separate myself in this great nation, but to be a part of this nation and its founding and its ideals is to first connect with the Constitution. The Constitution is what connects us all together as Americans. The Constitution does not discriminate. The Constitution is what levels the playing fields if you understand that the Constitution allows every single citizen the exact same rights and privileges that the framers wrote and pledged their allegiance to. So if I were to assimilate, which I have fully done, and I'm proud to have done that, then the liberties, the joys, the blessings of American exceptionalism is available to me and to my hearers. So I want to pass on those ideals to others who would do the same as I have done. You know, there is a mental assent, Pastor Jay, to developing a love for your country. We have to mentally connect with the concept that we are all Americans and then believe it in your heart.
Hmm.
And once you do that, you can grow in your love for America, your love for your fellow Americans, and you can recognize that there is no obstacles whatsoever that we together cannot overcome as Americans. So regardless of your skin color or your accent or your nationality or your regional place where you came from, if you connect with the Constitution and with America as for Americans, period, then there is nothing impossible that cannot be available for we as a people. Because the first three words in the Constitution is still we the
We,
people.
the
It's
people.
not we the party, it's not we the rich, it's not we the poor, it's we the people.
Speaking of we, the people, and you are quite the trailblazer, a young state representative, if I may add, because here you are, there, your first 2 year term, you boldly stepped out and sponsored the heartbeat bill. Let's talk about that. I mean, because behind the scenes, I was hearing a little bit of chatter and going, "Who Webster Barnaby? Who does he think he is?" You know, but you did it.
Well, I want to tell you, I believe strongly that life begins at conception. And I believe strongly that leaders have to lead. Even in dark times, leaders have to lead. This was one of those issues that I wasn't trying to, quote, make a name for myself. I was standing up for the rights of children who deserve the right to live. They deserve the right to live just as I deserve the right to live, and you deserve the right to live. We all deserve the right to live. And life should never be cheapened. And I believe that abortions cheapens life. It absolutely denigrates and cheapens life. So I felt it was important that we recognize that in the legislative body by acknowledging that every time a heartbeat is detected,
Mm.
that is a human life, and that life deserves the right to live. Now, my bill as constituted wasn't passed. However, the legislature did pass a pro-life bill that the governor and the legislature, including myself, because I co-sponsored that bill, that said abortions after 15 weeks of gestation to protect the lives of Florida's most vulnerable, that the governor understands that life is a sacred gift worthy of our protections. And that 15-week prohibition of abortions was signed into law by Governor Ron DeSantis. Obviously, I would have liked to seen the bill signed into law that said once the heart is detected. But that's another day and another battle that we will win eventually because now,
We need to start somewhere.
absolutely. And it's not a case of incrementalism, it's just a case of uh, asserting one's belief and getting the other legislators to agree, including, most importantly, the leadership amongst my party, because we, the Republicans, are in charge. And nothing happens in Tallahassee without leadership. Everything rises and falls with leadership. So I'm working very closely with Speaker Designate Paul Renner, a great American, a great friend.
We adore Paul.
Well, likewise, he and I are very great friends, and I
Yes.
have great admiration
And
and
he's
respect
a
for him.
Christian
Solid.
conservative Republican.
He is. He loves the
Yes.
Lord, and his wife and his family are wonderful Christian people. And so does our governor, Ron DeSantis, and his beautiful wife, Casey, who are great friends of mine. And I'm going to tell you right now, this coming legislative session in Tallahassee will be the greatest in the history of the great state of Florida. I believe that in my heart. Look out, Florida, because we are going to protect children. We are going to protect families. We are going to ensure that there are more foster parents than ever before. We are going to make sure that there are more adoptions than ever before. We are going to make sure that fathers get a chance to learn how to be a father better, how to be a better dad, how to be a better husband, how to be a better mom, how to be a better wife. We are going to do things that are going to help our fellow Floridians be much better in every aspect of their lives. And of course, our schools and our children, better education, better opportunities for college, for apprenticeships, better opportunities for workforce, Florida programs, better opportunities for our veterans. We're a veteran friendly state. I'm excited to have been the sponsor of the Medal of Freedom bill, which was given out to our highest civilian in our state. This year, we gave that to a 103-year-old World War II veteran, a last prosecutor from the Nuremberg Nazi war trials. And
Wow.
I was proud to have been the sponsor of that bill, and I'm honored to be the father of a United States Naval Academy graduate. My son is an intelligence officer in the Navy right now, serving honorably in Virginia. And my daughter is an architectural drafter with a big architectural firm in Orlando. Go Gators! That's where my money went.
Okay.
But I'm a proud Floridian. I'm a proud Floridian who stands up for all Floridians that's listening to this show, for all of our seniors. We're doing a lot to help our seniors and all of our veterans, and I'm honored to sponsor legislation to help our seniors in a major way. We have given tremendous raises for our law enforcement. I brought $6.6 million to Volusia County for
Uh-oh.
a new training center for our law enforcement officers, an assimilation training center that's going to be built at Daytona State College in D-Land. $6.6 million fully funded. And your freshman legislator, Webster Barnaby, did that. And I'm here, and I'm proud of it because you can do stuff even as a freshman.
That's right.
When people recognize that you're principled, they understand it's important to work with you. And that's what I do every single day that I'm in Tallahassee. And more good stuff is coming for Volusia and for Flagler County as well.
All right. Well, we've got to take another break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. 3 minutes, and I want you to talk about what's next for Volusia.
Okay.
What do you have? Anything? It's all on you. I want to give you, I'm not asking a lot of questions because it's your show.
Yep.
I want you to get whatever you want to get in. You know, there's a new VA facility that's going to be going up in
Yep.
Volusia as well.
Yep.
I'm excited about that. Very excited. Thank you guys for watching. Welcome back. Welcome back. I want to give a shout out and a thank you to Steve Verrier of thefloridamortgagecenter.com for sponsoring Today with Pastor Jay. Truly a friend to the show. And I'm just honored because of you. I'm able to stay on the air. Always looking for more sponsors. So if you want to sponsor, hit me up. Hit me up. Let me know. All right. So Representative, this is great. You know, I like how you say just a young rookie freshman representative, but you've come with tons of ideas. Seasoned in wisdom, and we are grateful for it. And I'm glad you work with Representative Speaker Designate Representative Paul Renner. The two of you are two quite powerhouses. Volusia and Flagler County are very, very blessed to have you. But what's next? What's next? Your district is changing. It's going to go from District 27 to District 29, if I'm not mistaken, in November. Lots of things that happen. Things are expanding. So what's new and what's hot topic priority for you?
So the district changes to include D-Land, Deltona, Lake Helen, and of course, Osteen and Orange City. Hope Florida is an initiative that First Lady Casey DeSantis spearheaded, and I'm so proud as a legislator to be in full support of what the First Lady is wanting to do. That is to unite communities through Hope Navigators to guide Floridians on an individualized path to prosperity, economic self-sufficiency, and hope. And this is spearheaded by First Lady Casey DeSantis. Hope Florida utilizes Hope Navigators to guide Floridians on an individualized path to prosperity by focusing on community collaboration between the private sector, faith based community nonprofits, and government entities
Mm.
to break down traditional community silos in an effort to maximize resources and uncover opportunities. Now, Hope Navigators are essential in helping individuals identify their unique and immediate barriers to prosperity, develop long term goals, and map out a strategic plan and work to ensure all sectors of the community, even this beautiful community here in
Mm.
Palm Coast, have a seat at the table and are part of the solution. Hope Florida cares partial, it carries partial portal technology, connects the needs of struggling Florida families with faith and community partners. A Hope Navigator identifies a need, inputs it into the care portal, and a real time message is sent to all participating organizations. Beneficiaries include, but are not limited to, struggling single parents, pregnant mothers, battling addiction, children aging out of the foster care system, and foster and adoptive parents. So the reason I'm mentioning that today is because, typically legislators would focus on big pictures that would affect typically just certain mid-sized businesses.
Mm-hmm.
This is an initiative by our First Lady, Casey DeSantis, that wants to pick up those
Focus
less
on people.
focused people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Go right down to the individual needs and particularly to the communities that are less mentioned typically, that get overlooked. So we're not overlooking anyone in the State House. I was so proud to have brought $4 million to the Tomoka prison system for the New Horizons program, recidivism program, to help those that are coming out of prisons, getting them back into society so they can fully assimilate.
Mm-hmm.
There's that word again.
Yes.
They can assimilate back into society as active and good citizens in our community. So I'm working real hard to make sure that our mental health programs are fully funded. We're trying to attract more clinical psychologists in this area so that those with mental health problems can get the proper treatment that they need. One of the great things that I was able to do this past year was to get fully funding for what's called alcohol spectrum disorder.
Yes.
Alcohol spectrum disorder is a terrible disorder that many children are born with, where their parents, if they were drinking while the child was in the womb, the child came out deformed or mentally unbalanced. Well, thank God we can now have an alcohol spectrum disorder clinic being built right here locally in Central Florida, working with Arnold Palmer's Children's Hospital and Orlando Health facility. And I was the sponsor of that bill this year, and I got it fully funded by the governor. And a center will be built in Orlando. Right now, there's only one center in the entire state. That's all the way in Sarasota. And that's just not good enough. We have so many children that need the proper diagnosis and the treatment. Sadly, the child that carried out the shooting down in Parkland a couple of years ago, that young man was diagnosed with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. And that was one of the reasons why he carried out that heinous act. But I believe that if we get the proper treatment, the proper assessment, proper medication, we can prevent a lot of these tragedies that are happening across the land.
Well, thank you so very much, Representative
Yes,
Barnaby, and looking forward to more to come. And
absolutely.
you absolutely are a friend and a brother to this show. Come on anytime, give us updates, let us know what's going on. All right?
I'm excited. Thank you for having me today.
All right. You know what I say, guys? Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? You're going to vote Webster Barnaby.
Yep.
Absolutely vote for Webster Barnaby.
Visit my website, votebarnaby.com. Votebarnaby.com.
All right, guys, have a blessed day.